again, in thunder, lightning, or in rain.
When the hurly-burly's done, when the battle's lost and won.
That will be ere the set of sun.
Where the place?
Upon the heath.
There to meet with Macbeth.
I come, Grey Malkin.
Paddock calls.
Anon.
Fair is foul and foul is fair. Hover through the fog and filthy air.
All hail Macbeth! Hail to thee, Thane of Glamis!
All hail Macbeth! Hail to thee, Thane of Cawdor!
All hail Macbeth, that shalt be king hereafter!
Hello guys! I'm Lau. And I'm Sophia. And today we're going to talk about fate and destinies. Are they decided? Or are we the ones to define it? First, let's dive into Shakespeare's take on the matter. We can see through the character of Macbeth that his attitude changed completely and abruptly after and with the knowledge of his future and after the completion of the first scene. By committing acts of violence such as the murder of the king and his servant in Act 2, Scene 2, we can see that he goes out of his way just to assure that the prophecies would come true. But, however, the question still remains. Would he have done such a thing hadn't he encountered the three witches?
It is especially important to reflect about this, as Macbeth does show a strong sense of values throughout the play by questioning his acts to the point of madness. This paranoid state of his is well portrayed in the banquet scene, Act 3, Scene 4, where he claims to see Banquo, who was previously murdered by his own order. This shows that he had a strong set of morals, but was going willingly against them to reach his new goals, his so-called fate. Therefore, we can suppose that if it weren't for his newfound ambition, he wouldn't have taken those actions.
So, hello my neighbors. Welcome to my banquet today.
What are you doing here?
Dad, you cannot be here.
But what if he hadn't understood the prophecy, and even with his misunderstanding, he still met his fate? Does that mean destiny is just as inevitable as fate?
These questions are explored in the underworld saga of Epic the Myth, a reinventation of the great Odyssey. In this piece, we follow Odysseus' journey to his kingdom and family at Ithaca after the Trojan War. While at it, he faces many obstacles. For instance, Cyclops, witches, and even gods, being Poseidon the center of his hurdle, due to the fact that he wouldn't cooperate with the fleet as they had hurt his son.
And not a spoiler at all, but it is quite a difficult task to go against the Lord of the Seas when you're sailing home, right?
Therefore, left with no other choice, Odysseus enters the underworld, searching for the greatest prophet of all time, an already dead man called Tiresias. In the song No Longer You, it is blinded, mysterious guy recites his prophecy.
What? I see a song of past romance. I see the sacrifice of man. I see portrayals of betrayal and a brother lover's final stand. I see you on the brink of death. I see you try your final breath. I see a man who gets to make it home alive, but it's no longer you. I see your palace covered in red, faces of men who had long believed you're dead. I see your wife with a man who is haunting, a man with a trail of bodies.
In this excerpt, it is made clear that death and betrayal are on his way home. With the unfolding of the story, we find out that the man who gets home is actually Odysseus, but the action he takes turn him into a different person. Hence the use of man in the lyrics to differentiate the Odysseus who left to the one who came back home. In regards to this perspective, it is important to analyze the song Monster from the same album, where Odysseus recognizes his own monstrosity and analyzes his behavior, considering the fact that maybe the origin of his problems is himself.
I'm surrounded by the souls of those I've lost. I'm the only one whose line I haven't crossed. What if the greatest threat we'll find across the sea is me?
Alexa, continue.
What if the greatest threat we'll find across the sea is me? What if I'm the monster? What if I'm in the wrong? What if I'm
Are too kind to close the monster to ourselves? What if I'm the monster? However, his reflections takes a turn as he finds a way to justify his violence and aggressiveness by comparing himself with the monster he fought and noticing and accepting his own monstrous behavior. Did they have their own reasons for taking those actions? Where is the line between the determination to do anything with an aim in mind and just being an unethical monster or an apathetic creature? These are some of the questions that surround Odysseus in an epic melody. Yes, I love the song, and representing a change in discourse from self-critical speech to a brand new one. Just listen to this.
Is the Cyclops struck with guilt when he kills? Is he up in the middle of the night? Or does he end my men to avenge his friend and then sleep knowing he has done right? When the witch turns men to pigs to protect her nymphs, is she going insane? Or did she learn to be colder when she got older and now she saves them the pain? When a god comes down and makes a fleet drown, is he scared that he's doing something wrong? Or does he keep us in check so we must respect him and now no one dares to piss him off? Does a soldier use a wooden horse to kill sleeping Trojans cause he is vile? Or does he throw away his remorse and save more lives with guile? If I became the monster, threw that guilt away, would that make us stronger? Would it keep our foes at bay? If I became the monster to everyone but us, and made sure we got home again, who would care if we're unjust? Then I'll become the monster. I will deal the blow. I must become the monster, and then we'll make it home.
Through this extract, we can see that he finds a way to get the answer he wants out of the prophecy, turning guilt into empowerment. This reflects the monstrous behavior he's been inevitably developing throughout the trials and tribulations of his story. This buildup of anger and frustration naturally leads up to aggression, one of many unfortunes of humanity. Thus, it is reasonable to assume that, regardless of his knowledge of the prophecy or his interpretation of it, the trail of bodies was already written in his story. Maybe his fate was destined for him.
Excuse me, you haven't forgotten about me, right?
No! We were just getting there, you horrid little thing from beyond.
So tell me, fate and destiny, are they decided? Are we the ones to define it?
Personally, I think that knowing your destiny does define your fate. For instance, Odysseus' violence was strengthened by the prophet message. If it weren't for this stupid prophecy, he wouldn't have fallen in a hole of guilt so deep that he accepts his own monstrosity. In just like Macbeth, who grew more and more ambitious and unreasonable, just because of his hyperfixation on being the king.
But hear me out. How can you prove that the king and his servants weren't going to die anyway, huh? That the others in the royal line wouldn't just give up the throne at their own will? What if Macbeth did become the king without his murderous and disloyal actions? Yes, the way there would be different, but you can assure that the prophecy wouldn't fulfill itself without any circumstance. Odysseus' humanity was at fault for his fate. Why can't that be for Macbeth too? I mean, he's ambitious, he's part of the royal court. You can't say the chances weren't there.
Yeah, I can!
Hold me back, right, creatures of the field!
Calm down, mere mortals. The world is big enough for two opinions. But what about you, fellow viewer? What do you think? Tell us in the comments below.
In the name of truth, are you fan?
Personally!
Ai, meu Deus, já errei.
Calma.
Macbeth.
Acabou o trabalho aqui. Acabou.